Good afternoon, thank you for joining us. This is the final press conference for Lawrence Okolie against Krzysztof Głowacki for the WBO Cruiserweight World title. Press conference is going to be getting underway at about 2 o'clock. We've got all of the undercard. They will come in one by one and we'll hopefully talk to as many people as possible. Get your comments in, get your questions in, and I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. Delighted to say that Adam Smith is, as always, part of our team here in the bubble this week. Adam, happy to be back, and how excited are you for the main event? We'll get on to the undercard, but this main event should have happened in December, happens now. I'm very excited. I can tell you are as well. Tell us a little bit about it.
I know you've been in the bubble a little bit longer than me, so the anticipation is big this week, of course. You know, Lawrence Okolie is a huge guy. He's a character. He's a personality. He's got a wonderful backstory about him, of course, looking up to AJ at the Olympics when he was working in the fast food outlet, the one we all know, the Golden Arches. And you know what? He shed the weight. He got serious. Look where he is, unbeaten in 15, and just like Anthony Joshua, who took the opportunity to win a world title against Charles Martin in his 16th fight, it's number 16th for Lawrence Okolie. As you said, should have happened just before Christmas on AJ's bill against Kubrat Pulev, but Gravetsky, we know, had COVID and everything got put back, so now it's the tough work starts for Lawrence Okolie. It's a hard fight, you know. The Polish guy, Gravetsky, is a tough operator. He's got big wins over Marco Huck and Steve Cunningham, and he's been in with Bradis and Usyk. You know, this is a proven campaigner, and we don't know about Okolie yet. He's looked the part. At times, he's looked dazzling, sparkling, ruthless. Others, he's been a bit clumsier, he's been a bit awkward to watch and a bit novice-y at times, so he seems to be improving vastly under Shane McGuigan, and this could be the time for Lawrence Okolie, but it's a tough fight.
There's no getting away from the fact that this season, lockdown boxing, pre that, A would usually beat B on the card. The left side of the bill was strongly favoured over the right side. If we've learned anything these last few weeks, it's that this seems to be a level playing field, if not favouring the away corner. I'm looking at Josh Kelly, same sort of bracket as Lawrence Okolie. This, again, would you say 50-50? Would you say Okolie's the underdog? On paper, perhaps? I don't know. Inactivity is a big thing for Gravetsky, isn't it? Looking down the fact that he hasn't boxed since June 2019, that wild night in Riga, how much of a concern is that?
Yeah, it could be ring rust, and he's not getting any younger. Two ways of looking at it, really. You could say Okolie starts the favourite. He's fresher, he's bigger, and he's got that power that, you know, he could win by knockout. But if it goes 5-6 rounds, do you start leaning towards Gravetsky? And it's the sort of fight, Andy, that I think afterwards we're going to say, well, I knew that would happen. So it's a difficult one. It could be Okolie by knockout. It could be Gravetsky just being too experienced, too tough, too hardened, too all-round seasoned for the man who calls himself the Source in Okolie. So, but he believes it. He's full of confidence, isn't he, Lawrence Okolie? That's why we're attracted to him, and we want to see if he can become a cruiserweight champion. And then obviously he's looking at becoming a heavyweight. You know, he's got that build, and you know, the blue ribbon division, obviously the glamour one to be in. So it's a fascinating one. But yeah, I think because of Gravetsky's, you know, ring rust, inactivity, also that strange fight he had with Bradis, you know, in Riga, it was a controversial one. How would he have come to terms with that? Was it you know, would he look at it as a blip?
He doesn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even address it yesterday. Just said, don't want to talk about it. As flat as that. Don't want to talk. Not dwelling on it. Don't want to talk about it.
I'm not surprised, but mentally, how's it affected him? You know, physically, it's been a while since he's fought, since he's been in the ring. Okolie had that small workout, but he looked good, didn't he, just before Christmas? So, you know, the momentum is definitely with Okolie, but the experience and, of course, fighting at a much higher level for the former world champion, aiming to regain his title in Gravetsky.
JB says, is this Okolie's hardest opponent? For me, yes. For you, it has to be, doesn't it? I mean, even Garbu was a good, decent European level contest, which he won in style. Just on paper, it has to be. Twice as many rounds, twice as many fights, former world champion.
Yeah, that was a really good win, wasn't it, on paper? And, of course, he had a very tough fight and the difficult fight with Matti Askin at Wembley. You know, sometimes he's failed to impress Lawrence Okolie, but at others, he's absolutely shone. In terms of level of pedigree, no doubt, Andy, this is by far his hardest test, and rightfully so for a world title. It should be. You know, world title shouldn't be handed to you. You have to really dig deep, and Lawrence is going for it fairly early in his career, fight number 16, so it's a risk, but he's that sort of guy, isn't he? He rolls the dice, Okolie, and if it comes off, he's talking already about unifying the division before going to heavyweight. It's big talk for someone who didn't have that many amateur fights, but did ever so well in the short spell he had. Well, look at somebody else who did very well with a short amateur career, and that was Anthony Joshua, and look where we are with him. So Okolie, part of that outfit, he's got the same inner belief and steel and confidence, and he looks fantastic, doesn't he, in physical perfection since those days where he was so obese, so overweight. It's a wonderful story. Now he's got to prove it on the very highest stage, and Gravetsky will be a very tough opponent.
Dwight Hamlet, when is the source, Lawrence's nickname, obviously going up to heavyweight? He is in the wrong division, mate. Good question. Adam just said that he might look at unifying. I'm not so sure. I don't think they're going to hang around. We always talk about the weight with him and how he looks on the scales because he's got a ginormous frame. He spars heavyweights. He's been very open in saying my future is at heavyweight. The key decision will be when. I think it'll be sooner rather than later, just because I think he'll win. If he wins, he'll win and look up. I don't think he'll look at the other champions. Am I wrong? What do you think?
Well, I think what he's got on his side is a natural physical presence. You look at those sort of cruiserweights, the Bridger weights, the likes of the Alan Babbiches of the world, who, it's going to be very tough if they go into that heavyweight division just because they're on that small side. We've seen Evander Holyfield go up, David Haye and others, but really to have that natural size advantage is a huge one. So I do think Lawrence Okolie's future's at heavyweight. I don't think there's any question about that. A bit like, we looked at Callum Smith at super middleweight and we said, is he a light heavyweight in super middleweight clothing, and actually could he have gone up? He's now going up. So it's up to the individual, if they can make the weight comfortably. Okolie's a massive cruiserweight, but he is talking about unifying the division. I think the cruiserweight division, overlooked in general because of the heavyweights, but look at the British cruiserweights that have come good. Glenn McCrory, our old colleague, and Carl Thompson and Johnny Nelson and Tony Bellew, of course, David Haye, Enzo Macronelli, wonderful too. It's a great list, and I think that Lawrence Okolie will want to add to that, and if he can go on and unify a title, I think he wants to be quick. I think he wants to keep this momentum. I think he likes fighting regularly, and I think that's a good sign, if he can win this and get out quickly again, and maybe he can unify. But I think by the end of the year or early next year, he's going to be knocking on the heavyweight door. We know he sparred with Anthony Joshua. We know that is where the big money is. If Okolie wins Saturday night, he will be a heavyweight, no doubt.
Saqib, very upset if we don't read your question out, so I'll read it. We all know that Lawrence Okolie's real gift is being a multi-million-dollar recording rap artist with boxing as a side hobby. When is Sky going to sign a record deal for their first boxing rapper? You're wrong, Saqib. Do you not remember Ringside, Darren Hamilton? Curtis, what's your purpose? Exactly, very, very good rapper. Lots of talk. Kashmir Felton, if Okolie wins, then he needs to fight Daniel Dubois, Usyk or Joe Joyce. We know that he sparred Joe Joyce. I can't remember if he was one of the gang that went out to spar Usyk. He might have when Isaac went out there. I can't remember. Maybe not. Usyk obviously off at heavyweight. Daniel Dubois, yeah, he's coming back. It'd be interesting to see the route they go. Why is Okolie in such a rush to move up to heavyweight? Alex Black. Surely he could clear out the strong domestic and world scene, could he not? Well, yeah, but the domestic scene, he's already won British and Commonwealth and European. Is it a step down to go back there? I don't know.
Andy, none of this is going to happen unless he wins on Saturday night.
Of course, yeah, we're talking about it's a done deal.
I mean, it is. He's 15-0, but still, in many people's eyes, he's fairly novice-y. So let's just see how he goes against Gravetsky, and if he makes a statement on Saturday night, which his team and obviously he does, and many other people feel he will. Then we can start looking at that. Could he unify the division? I agree. I think there's a crop of good British cruiserweights. Chris Billam-Smith, of course, on the bill here. You've got the likes of Richard Riakporhe as well, and Jordan Thompson and others that are sort of, they're the cruiserweights, but they all want to be in that heavyweight division because, as you see with Joe Joyce, and he's come good, hasn't he, after that win over Daniel Dubois. Dubois coming back. You've got Usyk. You've got Parker and Chisora. There's a huge amount just underneath the big boys. We wait and see what Deontay Wilder's doing. Andy Ruiz coming back, and of course now we know Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are going to fight this year. That's a great mouth-watering prospect for any cruiserweight, especially one that's got the stature of an Okolie.
before the undercard start, some questions coming in about the undercard. Jake Morgan, looking forward to seeing Joe Cordina back in the ring. He needs to get a few fights this year if possible, very much so, because inactivity is not great. And just one quick one on that before we start.
Yeah, I'm a big admirer of Joe Cordina. I think he's terrific. Unbeaten, of course, coming back down to super feather. I like that. He's class. Look out for him.
Okay, I'm just going to spin our camera around because we're not far off. You can see Eddie Hearn. He's got decent tan, having been out in Dallas and Miami. And he's on a new fitness regime as well, which I'm sure he's going to tell us all about later. He's with our Facebook fight, which is Brad Ray against Lee Cutler. So let's get over to him.
Thanks, guys. Back in the UK, back in the London bubble here at Wembley, ahead of a huge night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday, of course, from the SSE Arena, live and exclusive on Sky Sports in the UK and DAZN around the world. We have literally not stopped so far this year. Great to be back in London after one of the best fights I've ever seen live last week in Dallas between Estrada and Chocolatito. Of course, this week, Lawrence Okolie goes for the WBO world title against Krzysztof Głowacki. Next week, we're in Gibraltar for the big rematch between Dillian Whyte against Alexander Povetkin. The week after that, we are in Uzbekistan for a big homecoming fight for Akhmadaliev, for Madrimov, for Giasov. And then we go back to Miami for Liam Williams' challenge of the world title against Demetrius Andrade. We've got Conor Benn back in the UK. We've got Devin Haney upcoming, and the small matter of the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship to lock in as well. And of course, May the 8th, Canelo Alvarez fights Billy Joe Saunders for the Unified World Super Middleweight Championships. Absolutely non-stop. And we're going to talk you through the card this Saturday night. This fight, a cracker between Brad Ray and Lee Cutler. I was told by the team we've got no more space for any more fights. We're absolutely full up. The board don't want any more fights. And then Steve Wood sent me a list of 5 or 6 fights that were available, that were good to go, between young, hungry prospects that were ready to fight at any time. I saw this one. I said, we're having a bit of that. March the 20th at Wembley. So congratulations, you two. Massive opportunity. Brad, I'll start with you. You did box on the Quid Carroll show in February 2020. But this is by far the biggest test of your career. A lot of people calling it just a tremendous 50-50 matchup. Big opportunity for you both.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Lee's obviously a great fighter, but there's not much opportunity going about at the moment. And you know, it's a fight that obviously I believe he can win. He obviously believes he can win the fight, and you know, it's going to be a great fight.
One thing that the pandemic has done is, we know you're a huge ticket seller. I know, you brought a massive army of fans to Manchester for your fight, but the ticket sellers haven't been able to get out, obviously, with no fans allowed. So this is a fight that probably would have come 3 or 4 fights down the line. So that's an interesting point, but it's exciting, isn't it? Because a victory for you here on Saturday night probably secures your future on big TV shows and starts putting you in contention for English and absolutely British titles as well.
Yeah, definitely. With obviously no crowds on the small hall shows, you know, we've both missed out. We've not been able to box for a year. But yeah, like you said, it's a massive opportunity. We both know how big of an opportunity it is and what it could lead to. So that's why Saturday, you know, I'm willing to put it all on the line. I'm sure Lee is as well, so it's going to make for a great fight.
Lee, stayed ready. The opportunity came. Cracking fight, all action fight. You ready for this opportunity? So I always say on these kind of fights, winner stays on. You know, an opportunity to stay on the Sky Sports platform and go on and challenge for major titles.
Absolutely buzzing. Thank you for the opportunity. I know it's going to be a cracking fight. Me and Brad have sparred before. We've been in there. I know what sort of style he brings. I know what style I bring, and it just makes for a cracking fight. One for the fans, one for the pure boxing fans, and I can't wait for it.
You must have watched these shows from home. You know, we've seen upsets, we've seen great performances. What do you expect from that environment? I'll say it's quite eerie. You know, both of you guys used to boxing on some small hall shows, and Brad at the Manchester Arena with a lot of fans walking out. When the opportunity of a lifetime comes like it does on Saturday, you've got to take it with both hands. Are you expecting a strange atmosphere, or you think once the bell goes, you just got to go and take this chance?
Oh, definitely. I can't wait to hear the punches landing. You know, just hear it. Hopefully, you can just hear that thud, and not the crowd that's drowning it out normally. Normally obviously from Bournemouth with Chris Benham-Smith, so the pressure's on. We want a showdown in Bournemouth, so I want to come and deliver Saturday night and then take a showdown in Bournemouth in the summer.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people from Manchester and Bournemouth tuning in for this one. You will hear the punches landing, and plenty of them. Kicking off our Facebook action, Brad Ray against Lee Cutler. Gentlemen, if we can have a head-to-head up here, please.
So Brad is quickly going to jump over and join us. Brad, you can take your mask off for this one, but if you just stand on that mark there. First things first, noticeable height difference between the two of you. The heels aren't too big. I looked at his shoes as well. Is this just a great fight for you to be involved in? We like it. It's two unbeaten pros going at it. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's a great matchup. Like I said there, it's a good kid, Lee. Both hungry. Both come up the hard way, you know, selling tickets on these small shows, and we both see this is our chance now to break out. And you know, I know it's going to be a hard fight, but I'm extremely confident.
I wasn't aware that the two of you had sparred before. That's the first I'd heard of that. Cliche bingo, sparring. But can you tell us anything about how it went?
If it's anything to go off, mate, it's going to be a good fight anyway. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's a great spar. I'm sure we'll say the same. Good 50-50 spar, like it's a good 50-50 fight. Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Emotionally, where have you been? Because you were on like a COVID reserve, so you're never officially on the card. Was the first one February? Was it December? February. First one was February. Didn't get your opportunity, so you trained and trained and trained. Looked like it was going to happen, and then it didn't. You've had to reset and go again. I mean, you must have been up and down, surely, waiting for this to come.
Yeah, like you said, it had been a bit up and down, but you know, as soon as we got that confirmation that we were reserve, I was fight mode. Then I was ready. We sat down, looked at the dates for the shows, and that was my fight date. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen, and it was just the next one. That's my fight date, and you know, we could have been keep on going until there's a show in December, and I would have just kept going and been ready for them shows because I know what it could lead to. So yeah, I'm excited for Saturday, definitely.
Before I let you go, next fighters aren't there yet, but I don't want to keep you too long. Just finally, your prediction.
A win, 100% a win. Not bothered how it happens. I'm expecting a tough fight, but my hand's going to get raised at the end of it.
Perfect. Give you a little plug here, Facebook Live, so you can watch it on our Facebook, YouTube, social media channels. Tell your friends and family they can watch it there.
Top man, thank you.
Okay, go well. Say again?
I'm going to give you a plug, but you go.
Yeah, well, you know, as long as people are watching, you know, Brad, I owe you one. Okay, so these things happen fast and furious. Next fight is already on stage. Eddie Hearn with Ramla Ali and Bet Connolly. Ramla Ali going for a second contest. Bet Connolly we know very well. Been in with Eddie Scottley recently on our show. So let's get back over. Well, let's not get back over. I just realised that our colleagues are still talking to Lee Cutler. Looks like we're ready now, though. Eddie Hearn on stage, Ramla Ali and Bet Connolly.
Thanks, guys. I believe the first female fight of 2021 on our UK cards, of course, coming back from Dallas last week. We saw the undisputed welterweight championship between Jessica McCaskill and Cecilia Brackhouse. This is one that I absolutely love. Ramla Ali against Bet Connolly. Actually got told by the team that this was a fight that was accepted by both. I thought this would be a fight that might happen in 2 or 3 fights' time. I saw an interview from Beck saying I'd like that fight down the line. Here we have it. Saturday it's on. Ramla, you must be excited. You know, Beck, you know this is a proper fight.
Of course. Obviously, you don't. Anyone that steps into the ring, you don't take them lightly. So I know this is a serious fight, and for me, it's just a step closer to what I want to achieve. Basically, you've got to take the hard fights as and when they come. You shouldn't shy away from them ever, because you want to prove yourself, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Obviously, good opening performance from you. A little bit of frustration with illness and so forth. You were supposed to box a couple of times before this, but this is kind of like the fight that we was expecting in the 3rd or 4th fight of your career, but kind of in a stage now with the world that we live in that you have to take these opportunities and perhaps progress a little bit faster than you would in a normal world.
100%. I mean, for me, this fight, Beck wasn't my initial opponent. So obviously, thank you to Beck for stepping in. And yeah, it's just same again what I said. I'm happy to take the fight. I'm happy to be in those hard fights, even if it means earlier on, and I just want to prove myself.
Women's boxing, of course, flourishing, we know that, but especially flourishing around specific weights where there might be a lot of future competition. And your weight class just brimming with domestic fights, with world fights, of course. Ellie Scottney on this card as well, Shannon Courtney against Bridges for the world title, Rachel Ball coming back. So massive domestic fights for you, and an exciting future if you can keep progressing.
100%. There's a lot of good female talent in this country, and I know there's a lot around the world as well. I'm very excited about competing all around the world. I mean, I've done the whole international boxing for the last 4 years, and for me personally, I want the biggest fight of my career to be somewhere in America or in Mexico or in Asia or something like that. So that's definitely something that I'm very, very excited about.
I'll bear that in mind. Okay. Beck, welcome. She has to get through you first on Saturday. A lot of people very excited about this fight. I saw an interview with you a couple of weeks ago saying hopefully this was a fight that could get made, maybe even for a title, but big fight for you, a big opportunity, and a lot of people excited about Saturday.
Absolutely, and it wasn't so much about calling anyone out, because like you say, the division is thriving at the moment, and I'm just there to say I'll fight absolutely anyone. Didn't expect it to be on such short notice. I think Thursday I got a phone call, it was a possibility. They were like, what weight are you? And I was scaffolding at the time. I was like, baguette in mouth. I was like, definitely not a featherweight. I said, I can touch my toes and get to super feather. They were like, nah, we don't want it. And then Sunday, I got a phone call saying they'll take it at featherweight, 127, can you do that? And I just made a beautiful Mother's Day brunch, like cakes, you name it, scones, those little bad boy triangle sandwiches, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
You love to fight. I mean, you fight with Ellie Scottney. She's a fantastic talent. I mean, but you hung in there. You didn't stop trying. Ramla, of course, with a great amateur pedigree. Probably not the same kind of pedigree as Ellie Scottney, who's been boxing for a very young age in the GB setup and big international tournaments. But a lot of people love watching you fight. You never take a step backwards. And is that the intention on Saturday night against Ramla again?
Yeah, again, you can't. How long's a piece of string? That's what I absolutely love about fighting. You absolutely never know what you were going to get. You have to be able to adjust in the moment. The Ellie Scottney fight, I think a lot of people outside of boxing just saw debutee against someone that's had 12 fights or what have you, but we knew exactly what we were getting in with. We knew what a superb talent she was, and the bookies really, really annoyed me, saying I was going out in the second round. I was like, yeah, no way. Absolutely not. So yeah, pretty excited. Haven't had much prep, as I say, 3 days. Phoned the team up. Mike's like, I was doing something at the weekend, and my strength and conditioning coach was like, right, you've got 3 PT sessions, let's go. So I've had 3 spars at camp, and ready to go.
Strong, ready to go. Saturday night, we look forward to it. Ramla Ali and Beck Connolly. Beck's put the roast dinners down. She got the late call. She's stepping up for war on Saturday. We know every time she brings it. And Ramla Ali, one of the biggest emerging young talents in female boxing, looking to progress to 2-0 against a very tough opponent on Saturday night. If we could join us here for a head-to-head, thank you.
Yeah.
Ramla's quickly going to hop on the stream for us. Ramla, you can take your mask off for this one. Pro fight number 2. What do you want to show us on Saturday night against Beck Connolly?
So I haven't had much prep for my opponent on Saturday, but I'm very excited to showcase everything that we've been working on in the past few weeks in the gym. Obviously different opponent, but the goal still remains the same.
I felt, or we felt, certainly at Sky, that you were very harsh on yourself after your pro debut. Yeah. It's a big deal, pro debut, and there would have been nerves, and they didn't show any. But you were quite down on your performance, felt that you didn't box as well as you could have. Now you've had time to go back and watch it and take it all in. How do you feel that you performed, and what do you think that you've gone away and learned?
I mean, I definitely think I performed better than... Because, you know, sometimes you're in the ring and then you feel like things have gone one way and then your coaches see something different. It's the same thing. So when I obviously stepped back and then watched from the outside looking in, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, no, actually, you did quite well. So definitely shouldn't be as hard on myself. And I definitely won't be as hard on myself on Saturday. And, yeah, I just think it was better than what I thought.
Yeah, this is probably a complex question that deserves time to answer it, but I don't want to rush you. Not in too much of a rush. What's your thoughts on your Olympic dream? My basic understanding is the dream isn't dead at the moment. There is still a possibility that you can get your Olympic place. Can you just tell us your understanding as far as you know?
So what I know that the International Olympic Committee, so the task force that was put in place to replace AIBA, sent an email to everyone saying that the world qualifiers were going to be cancelled and that the remaining spots were then going to be allocated based on world ranking and continental ranking. So based on those two rankings, I still am very, very hopeful that, you know, in a month's time, in 2 months' time, I'll get a phone call or an email to say that I've secured a spot. And yeah, like I'm just really, obviously after this fight, I want to get one more pro fight under my belt and then start doing some amateur tournaments, because everything is really, really different. Like you asked me before, what was the difference? Head guards, the ounce of the gloves and things like that. So, and also the pace as well. So I want to start getting used to that and the duration of the rounds as well. So definitely have to start doing some amateur tournaments as well leading up to the Olympics.
Brilliant. Well, we'll catch up with you further in the week about that. Go well on Saturday. Best of luck. Okay, so we can see that Eddie Hearn is on stage with our next fight, Chris Smith against Vasyl Dukar. This looks like a real sleeper on the card. Chris emerging well and Dukar a hard man.
We move to title action, the WBA Continental Cruiserweight title on the line. Chris Smith against Vasyl Dukar. This is a cracking fight, all action fight. Study these guys, study their backgrounds, look at their fights, look at the competition. This is going to be one to watch on Saturday night. Chris, I'll start with you. Bit frustrating really, of course, the fight with Dion Juma. He had to pull out the fight with injury. Looked around for big competitive fights for you. This young man stepped up, got a good ranking, record deceiving, especially against the opposition that he's been in with as well. But tough fight for you on Saturday night and a really important fight for your career.
Yeah, for sure. You know, thankful to yourself and Vasyl for taking the fight. I was obviously slightly frustrated with trying to find an opponent, but I'm really, really pleased we've got a proper fight and a proper live opponent on Saturday, and looking forward to picking up another belt.
I know you and Shane obviously looked at Vasyl and the most standout performances and the fights on his career, probably the Egorov fight, who's going to fight Gulamarin for the Super World title, a close fight. Again, the fight with Lorena as well, that he lost on points as well. He's been slung right in the deep end from an early stage in his career and expecting a tough fight on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's in the deep end again though, and that we'll be showing that on Saturday night. And I'm obviously very respectful towards him. I've seen him how he boxed. Obviously, he was out sparring Maris Breedis with him as well, and I'm aware of the dangers of the fight. But I'm looking forward to putting on a career best performance on Saturday.
The cruiserweight division in the last couple of years really escalated domestically. Of course, your stablemate Lawrence Okolie going for the world title, but beneath that, Tommy McCarthy now picking up the European title as well. Richard Riakporhe well placed in the governing bodies as well. You're looking for that British title fight. Which of those fights particularly interest you? Is it avenging the Riakporhe defeat, or is it picking up the European title? I know Mark Dunlop, Tommy McCarthy open to that fight if you can come through on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that fight, that or the rematch. You know, either fight. I'm looking at progressing my career. I think both of those would be progressions in my career. They're domestic fights, obviously both matchroom, so it would make sense. And they're both really exciting fights. But obviously, first I've got to get through Saturday.
A lot of people tuning in to watch from Bournemouth on Saturday night. We know Lee Cutler also from down that neck of the woods. Before COVID, we had plans to go down there to the BICC. If you can win on Saturday, big opportunities as things open up in the summer to go back and have a major fight down in Bournemouth, a territory in a region that hasn't been spoiled by big time boxing but is a bit of a sleeping giant. I know you feel, and I agree with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to have a show down there in the summer. Like I said, we've got talent down there. We've got me and Lee come through Saturday, and we can get a big show down there. Obviously Southampton's not too far and there's some good fights from there as well, but It's been a while. I think it goes back to the late 40s and early 50s where Freddie Mills was world champion. Since anyone from Bournemouth of note, had a significant play in the boxing scene. So I'd love to reignite that and bring a show down there.
Good stuff. Vasil, I know we have a translator here as well. Big opportunity for you on Saturday night and a very tough fight against Chris Billam-Smith.
Yeah. I'm very happy for this opportunity and happy for invitation from you. I'm looking for the Saturday night, and I want to show great fight and what inside me.
Well, your English is excellent. Well done. Congratulations. I thought we was going to have some help. No, it's very good. But from an early stage in your career, you've always been thrown in tough fights. Kevin Lorena, Egorov, from a very early stage. So you're used to these tough challenges. Do you feel that you've learned a lot from those tough fights early in your career?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot of. I have no great background around me because I'm only from Czech Republic. I don't have a metronome on my back like a great star. I'm not great star. I'm only warrior. So when I have an offer, it was my seventh professional fight on my career. I have an offer for the world title. With Kevin Lorena, I get okay. I take it. I think now I see it was so early, but I learned a lot of, and now I think I'm ready for the big fights, and something change, and I make more professional training or more professional things, and before I was not ready, but I made I think a good fight. Every time I want make the fight, only the fight, and now I think is the time for the show it.
In this arena with no fans, we have seen a number of upsets. International fighters coming and defeating the favourite, from Britain. How big a moment is this for your career? A win on Saturday night could change your entire career in your life and put you in a tremendous position.
I hope so, but I want only jump in the ring and use my hands. So I'm thinking about the fight, not about the before, not about the things after the fight. My plan is win every next fight. So it's simple, but I think it will be the best what I can do.
Well, we look forward to this one. WBA Continental Cruiserweight title. Two big men, two big punchers. Do not miss this fight. It will be a cracker on Sky Sports and DAZN this weekend. Gentlemen, if we could come here to a head-to-head, please.
Okay, Chris, just on that mark there, Vasil seems like quite a nice guy. I wonder if you get sucked into any of these pre-fight mind games where you might just take your eye off the ball. Are you one of those that needs someone to be screaming and shouting in your face to get the best out of you, or is it all strictly business once the first bell rings?
No, I think it's always business once the bell rings. Nathan Forley was respectful, Craig Glover was respectful, and they ended how they did, and I think it'll be the same on Saturday night.
Eddie Hearns just put it to him there. Look, you can change your life if you beat Chris Billam-Smith. You can change your career. Flip that. What does this win do for you on Saturday if you can get past Vasil Ducar?
I think it's a really good learning fight for me, and I think I'll know more, what I'll take from it than a casual fan might, because they'll just look at the record. But I think it's a really good fight for me, a really good learning fight, and a really good thing to test me at against someone slightly different, slightly different style. And who's super tough, tough European. There's plenty of them out there, and I'm sure I'm going to meet more along the way. So yeah, I think it gives me a great opportunity to show that, but also obviously gives me a world ranking in the WBA.
Yeah, funny you should say that about learning fights. I wonder every fight is a learning fight, but I wonder where you see yourself at the moment you know, you're established pro now. You're not a young novice who needs an abundance of learning fights. What do you want to take from this if you're looking at it from that point of view?
You know, I want to put in a good performance, and that's the main thing. And it's about being disciplined and putting in a good performance, and not just getting the win by, you know, just blowing people out there or out toughing people and things like that. I can't do that. You can't do that at the top. You've got to have a lot of strings to your bow, and that's what I'm looking to prove on Saturday night. That I'm not just a puncher. I'm not just a you know, someone who just trades with people and just about comes out on top. I want to show more to my game on Saturday.
Forgive me if I cut you off. There's a little bit. It looks like we've got a little bit of time. Bournemouth. I just want to quiz you on it. Put it on Lee Cutler last night and show my lack of Bournemouth football knowledge. But it's a place where you want to take big time boxing back. Is that a weight that weighs heavy on your shoulders? I know that you're saying to Eddie Hearn, because it was very close before, wasn't it, that show was going to go down there. You feel that you're driving that scene forward at the moment. How grateful would you be to have a show that you could headline down there at a real big platform? Yeah,
you know, you have a few boxes in your career, and that's one definitely want to tick. Is a televised show down there on the way to eventually fighting at Dean Court, the Vitality Stadium. That's a massive dream of mine. So yeah, you know, the football team are doing well now, and looking forward to getting a show down there.
Sorry for cutting you off. Thank you very much. We'll get over to our next fight. Ellie Scotney is on stage.
Thanks, guys. We move back to the females now. Another great fight. The return of Ellie Scotney against Myles Gangloff. 6 2-minute rounds. I'll start with Ellie, made in Catford. Where have you been? You know, we had the performance, you know, one of the best debuts we've seen in October. Very frustrating for you. A little bit of COVID thrown in there, a little bit of injury and illness, and back in action, you must be raring to go.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a madness. It's been a good 6 months, I believe. So, yeah, I'm buzzing to get back in there Saturday night.
You've had to watch, you know, even further the development of women's boxing as well, and you've had to watch your division just light up domestically. Of course, we had Ramla on here earlier. You've got Shannon boxing, Ebony Bridges now, Rachel Ball. Hopefully she gets back to full health as well. It's a fantastic division, and really looking to get in amongst those titles as soon as possible.
Yeah, without a doubt. I feel like you can tell by the opponents up where I'm being matched. I just want every fight to learn something new and, get going for good.
We know that Beck Connolly was extremely tough. Bit of a different opposition in Myles Gangloff. Probably looking much more ambition, no disrespect to Beck, but in terms of winning titles, just one defeat, having lost for a title herself as well. Plenty of experience, expecting a tough fight.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's a big step up, but it's a step up that I believe that I'm ready to take. So, I'm looking forward to it Saturday night.
Just have to ask you about that Ramla Ali Beck Connolly fight as well. I mean, I know that Beck's record, obviously she's been thrown in the deep end a lot earlier in her career and taking fights at late notice, but that's a tough fight for Ramla Ali.
Yeah, 6 days notice. Beck don't mess around, and she's game. She's got a lot of heart, and it's going to be a good fight. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
Myles, welcome as well. Women's boxing is tremendous here in the UK and in France as well. Big opportunity for you. You're ready to fight on Saturday.
Yeah, to be honest, at the origin, I just accept a fight for an English girl and 6 rounds, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And because I will have a French championship in 1 month, so I was like, yeah, okay, come on, like this I can prepare me. And I didn't know that I was prepared to be in this context, and I'm very glad to be here, and so thank you a lot.
Yeah, we do things big here. This is big opportunities, and this is really, right now, women's boxing in the UK is on fire. Big opportunity for you here. Talk us through those opportunities in France. Is it more difficult for female fighters to get opportunities? You have to move much quicker. You've been fighting top opposition very early in your career already.
What about the last sentence, please?
You've been fighting good fighters quickly in your career, with few fights. You're going fast.
What?
You're going fast. Come, you're moving fast.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. Don't want any trouble.
Like a boxer.
What I'm saying is that where there's a bigger market, fighters go more slowly. Take easier fights.
Yeah.
You have had to take tough fights to take opportunities. Come on, you must get that bit.
I don't have a lot of vocabulary.
Yes, something like that. What I'm saying is, you're having to take tough. My fault. My French is not
tough.
Hard fights.
Hard fights.
Hard fights.
Yeah.
So yes.
I know it.
Okay.
And it's good.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. But you're ready to fight. What should we expect from you on Saturday night? All action?
I really don't know what I expect, but I really feel good, and so I think I will make a beautiful fight. And it's a great boxer. I have the same problem than her. We don't have a lot of girls who say, okay, yes, I come fight. So many times the girl come from, east of Europe, and it's not the same level, So I'm very glad to be here with a real opponent.
This is a real fight. Thank you for taking the opportunity. I will improve my French for next time around.
Thank you.
I thought I'd struggle more with you, Ellie, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean?
Really Frank to take over. Where's Frank?
I will just say, just one line from you as well. I think a lot of people are excited to watch you fight. A lot of people were impressed by your debut. You feel any pressure at all to look good on Saturday night? Because of that debut, it was very impressive, but just looking to continue the route.
Yeah, pressure's good. I put more pressure on myself, so you've got to deal with what you've got to deal with, and yeah, I'm buzzing to get in there.
Good stuff. Well, Scott v Gangloff, this is a good fight. Don't miss it, Saturday night, Sky Sports, DAZN. If we could have a head-to-head here, please. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ellie, did you enjoy that as much as we did? Eddie Hearn struggling with his translation there. I just get to stand on that mark there. It was brilliant. I just wondered, you didn't feel like helping him at any point?
I don't feel I could have saved him there. I think Frank Smith does a better job. That was sore. That's
on tape now. He won't thank you for that.
I'm off the show, innit?
Maybe Gangloff, what do you know about her? What have you got to do to beat her?
Yeah, I've watched her. She's been about. I watched a few of her fights. She was about on the amateur scene, so she's got. Technically, she's going to be there and she's going to come to fight. So yeah, I've got to be on it, and I feel like it's going to bring a better Ellie Scotney out on the night.
Any frustration at all that COVID has slowed your progress? Obviously, you burst onto the scene in Peterborough. We were all looking forward to that debut. It was very impressive, and then COVID struck, and you've had to press pause a little bit. Are you fully recovered and excited to get going on Saturday?
Yeah, that was it was a bad time for everybody in the gym as well because I was a super spreader. So yeah, I put it behind me, and I'm buzzing to get the second bout on the way.
With Beck Connolly on your debut, what have you gone away and worked on? How do you feel now that time's passed? You and Adam Booth and the rest of the team would have looked back at that performance, a very good performance in our eyes. How do you reflect on it all?
Yeah, it was a great time, especially my first fight, but I feel like now I'm starting to adapt the style that suits me, and hopefully you'll start to see that Saturday night.
It's all about the speed at which you're moved. Eddie and the rest of the team will have an eye on that. How quickly do you want to go?
Yeah, no, I feel like they'll make the judgment on that, and when they say you're ready, I just got to make sure I am. So my steps now, I feel like even from my first opponent to my second, it's a step up, so it's definitely in the right direction.
Brilliant, go well.
Thank you very much.
Eddie, can I quickly ask you just to come in and just explain yourself, because you're obviously not making yourself clear. Just on the mark, have you not gone away on your whirlwind tours and learnt any French? And can I just say that you've done me in that situation when I asked the simplest of questions to Povetkin and you laughed at me because he couldn't understand. The tables have turned.
Bonjour, Andy. Ça va? Listen, I actually have GCSE French. I do. But I didn't want to start doing that because it was like, when you dig a hole and you just keep on going. And I'm thinking, how can I simplify this? And then, even when I finally got there, she just said, yeah. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have to go there. But listen, worse things worse, I've got Fowler up now. I mean, if you thought that was tough to understand, wait till you get Fowler up here. So I think she understands what I meant is that. In the female division, in certain countries, there aren't a lot of opportunities. You have to be thrown into championship fights in 2 and 3, and she has, and she can fight. So we'll try with Fowler instead.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. I should just say as a disclaimer, we're not laughing at Maëlys Gangloff there. Her English is infinitely better than Eddie Hearn's French, so never miss an opportunity to dig Eddie Hearn out a little bit, and took tremendous pleasure in that. This one is also a good fight. Anthony Fowler, Jorge Fortea are with Eddie Hearn on the stage now. Let's get over to them.
Thanks, guys. As I just said on Sky, and I don't know if you saw that, but I struggled with the translation from the French fighter previously. So, you know, sometimes you get a bit carried away. So we'll keep it nice and slow for you. Massive opportunity, Fowler against Forte, and I'm really, really excited to see you back in action. I mean, due to fight early in the year, you came down with COVID, didn't really affect you too much. A lot of gyms have had that problem filtering through, but big opportunity for you. IBF number 15, we saw him fight in America against the number 1 in the world in his last fight, went the distance. These are the kind of fights where you really can showcase what you've been doing with Shane and the position you're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. He's an ideal opponent for myself to see where I'm at this stage in my career. Obviously, I want to push on now. I've been boxing right, English title level, winning easy. I want to push on. I think he's probably potentially European level. So he's a good fighter. Trying to give me around. He's elusive. He's really tough. He's skillful, and he's going to try and frustrate me and make me use my feet and make me work for the win. So it's a great test for me. Yeah.
That's what we saw in that fight. Was he does have good movement. It could be a little bit frustrating for you early on. Has a fantastic chin as well. Do you think that's where what you've been working on with Shane will really show dividends? This is a big step up for you. You go back to the Harper fight. This is no disrespect to Adam, but levels and levels above Adam Harper. But you look like you're really happy with the setup with Shane McGuigan, and you feel like you're in the form of your life.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't say better myself. Like, I think I've really found my feet with Shane. Like, I just feel everything's coming to fruition. I'm 30 now. I'm big and strong. I've been in the pro game a few years now. I've been in the gyms, sparring top fighters, and I'm coming to my own now. Like, I keep saying it, but I've been doing 12 round sparring, 3 or 4 different lads, and I'm doing it easy and just getting in the ring and doing bags where 2 years ago, shall we say, I'd do that and I'd be knackered, I'd be breathing, because I'd be tight and I'd be trying to knock people out. I'm just a lot more calm now. I think Shane's the perfect coach for me. Like, I feel like I found my feet in boxing, and I think this fight's going to show people like Fowler can fight, and he's finally adapted to the pro game.
You look probably more comfortable than I've seen you on the weight, facially at this point in the week. A lot of people, when you started your career, said, oh, he might not be at 54 for too long, but you're confident now, you've built the position in that division, you're ready for the big fights in that division, and of course, you know, a child on the way as well, you're going to be a father coming up soon. This is the year for you to go out and make a mark in the game.
Mate, exactly. You're saying everything I'm thinking, and I want to get in there now. I want to be in the fights where people say, Fowler's going to get beat. I want the big names. I want to box people like Sergio Garcia. People are going to say Fowler's going to get beat this fight, and I want to show you what I can do, because I know what I've got inside me, and I want to show it.
Welcome, Jorge, through your translator there, welcome. Big opportunity for you, big fight, of course, Spanish boxing really moving progressively right now, and a great fight that people are excited about on Saturday.
Sí, bienvenido en primer lugar, es una gran oportunidad para ti. Obviamente el boxeo en España se está aumentando mucho, es una gran oportunidad, supongo que con muchas ganas, ¿no?, de que llegue el sábado.
Muchas gracias por esta oportunidad, y sí, la verdad que estoy muy contento por haberme dado la oportunidad de enfrentarme a Fowler, ya que aquí es como el número 1, y bueno, sí, estoy deseando ya que suene la campana y poder demostrar a qué hemos venido.
Yes, so thanks for the opportunity to come here. I'm really happy. It's a wonderful opportunity, and you're going to see from that first bell what I'm going to do, and I'm looking forward to taking advantage of this opportunity.
You have much more professional experience than Anthony Fowler. You've boxed at a much higher level, and of course, previously out in Las Vegas, where you boxed the world number 1 in a very, very tough fight. You have great experience against world-class opposition.
Sí, tienes mucha experiencia contra, digamos, oponentes de clase mundial. Enfrentaste al número 1 del mundo en Las Vegas. Supongo que esa experiencia también te irá bien en la pelea.
Sí, la verdad que fue muy buena experiencia enfrentarme en ese momento a Murtazaliev, que estaba el número 1. Bueno, y como no es lo normal, bueno, de normal siempre estoy, o peleo poco en casa últimamente, siempre tengo que viajar fuera, entonces no soy el favorito, entonces estoy acostumbrado también, y no me da igual pelear o sea, en casa que fuera.
Yeah, it was a great experience for me facing Murtazaliev, the number 1 in the world. And to be honest, I fought quite a lot at home, but I'm prepared to go away to seek opportunities. So yeah, I do have that experience of travelling as well.
Thank you, Jorge. And finally, Anthony, from you, obviously big fight for you on Saturday, but you want to get through there, the domestic fights, the European fights, you're ready for it. I'll have to ask you about one fight next week as well, Ted Cheeseman against your Liverpudlian, JJ Metcalf as well. How do you see that fight going, and you against either of those guys, but certainly JJ Metcalf in a fight for the city when fans return? You're going to be watching that with interest next week.
Yeah, that's a great fight. I think Metcalf comes through, and obviously I'm supporting Metcalf. He's a fellow Scouser, but also it sells a lot more in Liverpool. That'd be a massive fight when the fans are finally back alive. But like I said, mate, this fella, he's no joke, and I'm coming for him, mate. Like, I'm bringing everything I've got, and I've got that bit of fire in me for this fight, because I know he can either make me look bad or he can either beat me, so I've got to be ready.
Big opportunity, big fight for Anthony Fowler and Jorge Fortea this Saturday night, live on Sky Sports. Gentlemen, to the head-to-head, please. Thank you.
Anthony's going to step in just briefly and have a chat. Was just on that mark on the floor there. First time you come face to face with Fortea, what did you see when you looked at him?
He looks game, mate. He's up for it. Obviously, he's like we're all fighters. We want to win. Him beating me is a massive win for himself. He got him all ranked in all the goodman bodies. It's a career changing win for him. But same for me, mate. I can't afford to lose. I've given everything to this camp, as I have my whole life for boxing. And I just feel like I'm in a good place now. I found my right coach. I found the right setup, and I think this is my time. I think people are going to get a shock how well I box.
Really interesting. That's the first time I've heard you say that, and it has been something that's levelled you at you in the past. That you are too stiff. You are too hell bent on knocking someone out. You don't relax. I mean, you have done it, but it does creep back in now and again. Under Shane McGuigan, do you think you've sort of eradicated that element of it? You feel a lot more loose, and you're just looking to box. You've got elite amateur skills. You just choose not to use them sometimes.
I did, exactly. I can even remember back to when Dave Cole was in the gym. He was saying to me, "You're too tight. You're going to gas out in the fight." And I didn't see it because I was all naive. I was knocking everyone out, and I couldn't see what pro boxing was. Where now I do. I know now it's a 12-round fight, and I know you can't go out there and try and kill them in round 1, 2, and 3 because you can't do it. It's a 12 rounds. So I've had to set myself down, and I'm just calm in the ring now. I just feel like I'm at home over that longer distance.
With that in mind, is it important not to get too sucked in to try and knock him out? He went the distance with Bakram Murtazaliev, the IBF #1. He couldn't get him out there. He's highly touted. So there's no shame if you don't get him out there. Is there any danger in the fight that you might go chasing that, get a bit too hell-bent on causing a statement and getting him out of there rather than just looking at first and foremost getting the win?
The old me, definitely, yeah, but not the new me. Now I know that it's all about the win. And I feel as though my left arm, my jab's going to win the fight for me. I think he's very hard to catch clean. That Russian had the pressure in the whole fight, but couldn't find that knockout punch because he's pretty slick and elusive. But my jab is going to open him up, open everything up, and as long as I win, mate, that's the main thing, and then we can move on to these bigger fights.
Yeah, well said. Go well.
Thank you.
Adam, we've got a tiny little bit of time before the next fight. Anthony, you can go. Thank you. Don't want you to. Social distancing means that we can't have people there. Sorry. Big night for Anthony Fowler. Part of that McGuigan's gym. It's a huge night for him. Very honest in what he said there. He feels like he's found the right coach. No disrespect to Dave Caldwell, but didn't seem to matter how many times they tried it, he fell into the same mistakes.
I'll quickly just say how much you're enjoying the press conference today and Eddie's French. GCSE, really? Did he really do that?
For a long time ago, that's what I'll say.
A long time ago. Ellie Scottney, great to see her. Ramla Ali, it's fantastic to have the women back and 2 great prospects. Anthony Fowler, yeah, it's an important fight for him. He seems to have, we know Dave Caldwell well, he's a great friend, he's a colleague, he's one of the best trainers in the world, but sometimes you need a little change, and maybe he feels a bit fresher. He's sort of got down south, gone down to Shane McGuigan, and they've obviously got a good bond. He's got a good bond with Lawrence Okolie as well. It's Chris Billham-Smith. It's a big team, and I think Anthony probably likes that, and he's going to be a dad. I think he's right. When he was fighting Scott Fitzgerald, and even before that, he was so pent up. Everything was aggressive, and even Dave was trying to calm him down. I think now probably a bit of maturity, as I said. Family more important now. Had that defeat, got to rebuild, got to get it right, and he's now talking. He was the England captain as an amateur. He was a fantastic, good amateur, and he hasn't really shown us what he can do in the pros yet. I think it's starting to knit together. He's going to be a bit of a slow burner, but it's a fantastic division, isn't it? If he gets past on Saturday night, if he gets past this one, then he's got JJ Metcalf and Ted Cheeseman, the winner of that. If Metcalf comes through next week, that's a fantastic fight for Liverpool, and we can't wait to go back out there when crowds come back. But I think there's a nice calm calmness to Anthony, and it's not something I would have probably tagged him with. Fitzgerald, Fowler, remember the madness ahead of that one. Anthony's just got a little bit more serenity to him, and I think that will serve him well in the ring.
Arguably the best division domestically, would you say? I'm going to leave someone out here, but Cheeseman, Metcalf in Gibraltar next week. Kieran Conway, Sam Eggington. I'm going to miss someone big out there, but Fowler, Sergio Garcia with the European title, it keeps being mentioned. Pound for pound, one of the best divisions.
Yeah, it's a great division, and of course Sergio Garcia is that carrot. Ted Cheeseman got it wrong against him, but ultimately these guys will be ready for that. Ted's got a big fight next week against JJ Metcalf. Looking forward to that, and great styles as well, Andy.
Okay. Well, 2 to go. Co-main event on Saturday night. We cannot wait to see Joe Cordina back in the ring. Cordina against Korbanov. Joe, it has been a long, long time coming. You were flying. Everyone was talking about you being the best prospect in the world championship on the horizons, and of course the hand injury. It's been a long time, must have been frustrating, and ready to go on Saturday night finally.
Yeah, well, it's just good to be back. Obviously, it's been frustrating for me. With the pandemic and a hand injury, I had to make a decision what to do, whether to crack on and just try and get a bit more momentum in my career, or take the time out to have the hand injury and then come back 100%. But I'm just glad I had it done now. Everyone was talking about me being the next big thing or whatever, but it's okay people speaking about it, but I got to go out there and do it. So for me, I'm just glad to be back, and Saturday I'm going to pick up where I left off.
It has been a long time, but of course with the pandemic you probably have missed one fight ultimately, so it's not been that much of a delay to your career, but you're keen to make a statement on Saturday night. You have a tough fight. It's not about coming in and having an easy comeback fight. You want to kick off where you left off before the pandemic and move on towards, I've heard you talk about a world championship fight in 2021.
Yeah, of course. I've made it clear in previous interviews and since I turned pro, the main thing for me is to win a world title. I wasn't interested in the British title, and that's no disrespect to anyone. I've won it. I vacated it. Same with the Commonwealth title, the European title. I'm not interested. The only thing I got into boxing for was to win a world title. So for me now it's all about putting on a good display of boxing on Saturday, a clinical performance, and getting myself one step closer to a world title. And if I'm able to, if I want to be boxing for a world title anytime soon, I have to overcome someone like Korbanov on Saturday.
Joe, thank you, Korbanov, and through a translator as well. Big opportunity for you on Saturday night, and a tough fight against a very talented Joe Cordina.
Bienvenue à Londres. C'est une grande opportunité pour vous samedi soir. Et est-ce que tu penses que ça va être un combat dur samedi soir?
Merci pour l'invitation. C'est vrai que ce ne sera pas un combat facile parce que Joe Cordina c'est un très un bon boxeur surtout. Il a un gros palmarès en amateur. Alors je sais que ce ne sera pas un combat facile.
I'm thankful for the opportunity. I know Joe is a great fighter. I know it's not going to be hard, but I'm gonna give it 100%.
Obviously, he's been out of the ring for a while. We know you like to come to fight. Is the plan to be all action on Saturday night and put the pressure on Joe Cordina?
Alors Joe est un grand talent, mais il ne s'est pas battu depuis un moment. Est-ce que ton plan est d'être agressif au premier round?
Je sais qu'il n'a pas boxé pendant un an, mais je sais qu'ici en Angleterre, vous avez de très bons boxeurs. Alors je pense qu'il a eu des bons sparring partners. Alors ça ne posera pas de problème pour lui, je pense. Mais le samedi, ne sera pas un combat facile aussi pour lui.
I know he hasn't boxed in a while, but I know in England the level of boxing is high level. He probably has some really high level sparring partners. So I know it's still going to be a tough fight, but I'm going to bring my A game.
Thank you very much. Joe, finally for you, I know you have to get past Saturday night, but when you look at the division at the moment and you do plan for World Championship action, fascinating division, of course. Carl Frampton fighting Herring for the world title, a big win from Oscar Valdez as well. You have a vacant title with the IBF with Rakimov and Agawa. Big opportunities there at 130 pounds and some huge fights.
Yeah, of course, it's a stacked division. All the names you've named, and there's more out there that ain't world champions that are at the top level. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But the main focus for me is Saturday night against Korbanov, and I got to come through him with flying colours before I start kicking down the door at world title level.
Well, the return of Joe Cordina, we cannot wait. Cordina against Korbanov, Saturday night, live on Sky Sports in the UK and DAZN around the world. Gentlemen, if we could have a head-to-head here, please.
So Joe Cordina is going over to our colleagues at Matchroom. Don't think we're ignoring him. We're going to catch up with Joe tomorrow. Adam, big night for Joe Cordina. Yeah. Skills pay the bills, and he's got them in abundance. Mm-hmm. We know that. But time doesn't wait, and he has been inactive. Needs a big fight. Needs it soon. If he wants to win the world title, that a lot of people think he's very, very capable of doing so.
I'm one of those. I remember when he turned over, and I thought that this guy is a surefire thing to at least be challenging for European world titles, if not winning them. I think he's that good. He's so talented. He's got huge skills. You know, and you talk
at the right weight now.
I think so. I think that was a problem. I think I always saw him. He was always sort of betwixt and between, and I always saw him as a natural super feather, not a lightweight. And I think that, you know, possibly a lack of punch power up there. And I know he hurt his hand, and he's coming back from that. As you said, he's coming back from a lot of inactivity. We haven't seen him since that show in Monaco, which is a long time ago. So back into 2019 now, and so, you know, he needs to get out. He needs to get busy again. I think he'll need 2 or 3 rounds just to get back into the swing of it. But I love watching Joe Cordina, and it's a packed division domestically and, of course, worldwide too. You know, Oscar Valdez's amazing win the other night, and you know, there's things to aim for Joe. But I honestly do believe that he has got the pedigree and the class to go a long way in the sport. If he can just keep injury free, maybe settle at this weight now, I think he's a very, very good fighter, Andy.
Just 2 names that we've featured in recent weeks, Zelfa Barrett, Martin J. Ward. Just wonder what Eddie will be thinking in terms of potential matchups down the line within internally in his stable. I wonder if he will have to wait until a world title's on the line, or he might wait until a world title's on the line for those guys before he matches them.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It reminds me a little bit of a triumvirate we had many years ago with Spencer Oliver, Michael Brodie and Pat Mullings, and they sort of some of the matches happened, some didn't, and you know, Spencer obviously retired early. You know, Pat Mullings never fulfilled his potential, but Michael Brodie went on to world honours. So you got a little pack there, which is interesting, and they're all different characters, different styles. You know, Martin J. Ward's doing ever so well. Zelfa Barrett coming off that tough fight with Kiko, and you know, but I think Cordina's got the potential to be better than both of them, but you know, he's got to get it right on the night, and I don't think we've yet seen the best of Joe Cordina, so we've got to see it soon. But I think they're fantastic fights. Whether Eddie will put them together, we've got to put the pressure on him to make sure those fights happen, and obviously they'll want it for world money, but we want it now.
Quick preview of the main event before they make their way on stage. I don't think we're going to see fire and brimstone, chaos and destruction in this press conference. Certainly didn't get it from Krzysztof Głowacki yesterday. Very, very understated, kept his cards close to his chest. Lawrence Okolie, you know, he's not shy on making a bold prediction, but I don't think we're going to get explosive fireworks. Do you think deep down there will be nerves with Lawrence, because he's very, very good at hiding them? I just wonder if he hasn't got them or if he's hiding them.
You've got to have nerves. You've got to be able to control them, and of course he'll be the adrenaline will be pumping. But he is super confident. He believes in himself, and he believes this is his time. But as I said before, Gravetsky is a very tough, proven, seasoned operator, and he says he's going back to Poland with a world title.
Okay, beautifully set up there from Adam Smith. You can see on stage members from both teams. Shane McGuigan and Lawrence Okolie have formed this partnership that has so far been very, very successful. Former world champion Krzysztof Głowacki we know that he's seen this before, albeit not in a bubble type environment like we are now. But I don't think too much of this is going to be bothering him. Let's just see, I might have jinxed it if it all goes wrong. It's a disclaimer, it wasn't my fault.
Here we go, the main event of the evening, the World Cruiserweight Championship, WBO Cruiserweight Championship on the line between Lawrence Okolie and Krzysztof Głowacki on Saturday night here at the SSE Wembley Arena, live on Sky Sports in the UK, DAZN all around the world. The journey of Lawrence Okolie has been a fast one, moving through the amateurs with few fights, making it to the Olympics, of course British, Commonwealth, European Championships with ease, now steps up for the biggest prize in the sport, the World Championship on Saturday night. I'm going to go to his opponent, Krzysztof Głowacki, first, and his training team. And Theo, thanks for joining us as well. There seems to be a lot of confidence from Lawrence Okolie. He seems to be the favourite in this fight, but on paper, all the big experience comes from your man and Glowacki on Saturday night.
Także wydaje się, że jest tutaj dużo pewności siebie po stronie Lawrence'a Okoliego ze względu na jego walki, ale całe doświadczenie leży po stronie pana Głowackiego. Także to tak będzie.
To jest chyba normalne, tak? Krzysztof Głowacki jak pierwszy raz boksował w Mistrzostwie Świata, to też był pewny siebie, też boksował przeciwko doświadczonego zawodnika. Tak, doświadczenie jest po naszej stronie, ale zdajemy sobie sprawę z siły Lawrence'a, więc czeka nas wspaniała walka.
I think it's normal because when Krzysztof Głowacki was fighting for his title, he was very self-confident and the experience is on our side, but we'll see what happens.
Obviously we know Lawrence Okolie has a lot of power, doesn't have that much experience as a professional. What does your fighter have to do on Saturday night to win this fight?
Także my wiemy, że Lawrence Okolie ma dużo siły, prawda? Może nie ma tyle doświadczenia jak profesjonalista. Co pana uczeń będzie musiał zrobić w sobotę, żeby zawalczyć?
No na pewno uniknąć tych mocnych ciosów i zadać swoje ciosy. Najlepiej, żeby zrobił to więcej razy niż Lawrence. W taki sposób boksie wygrywa się walki.
First of all, he would have to avoid those huge punches and then hit him hard. So we'll see how it goes.
Shane, there's a lot of confidence coming from the team, a lot of noise back there. You guys got a lot of energy in the camp. Seem very, very confident ahead of Saturday, but at the same time realise this is an elite cruiserweight that Lawrence is in with on Saturday night.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, his only two losses are Usyk and Brady, so he's mixed it with the top boys. He spoiled the party when Al Heyman brought Marco Hook over, and he's boxed away from home a few times, and he's always put on his best performances. So we have to be lively, we have to be on it. Lawrence was lucky to get out on December 12th, get a run out, get used to this weird atmosphere being inside the bubble and seeing your opponent on a regular basis. So this is all new to Krzysztof. So it's going to be a lively night, but hugely confident that he's going to come away with a victory.
I know we never really know if a fighter's ready for the step up until they make the step up, but you believe Lawrence Okolie, with the limited experience he has, is ready to beat an elite cruiserweight like Glowacki on Saturday night?
He hasn't been tested yet, and I don't think he's not going to get tested until he's in with the top boys. And he's flew through the amateur rankings, went to the Olympics. He's done the same in the professional rankings, just cleared everybody out. This is his biggest challenge, but if he blows out Krzysztof Głowacki, I mean, he's got to get his props, and I think that's something that is, he hasn't got yet. People haven't really taken like a back seat and sort of appreciate how good he is.
Krzysztof, welcome. Looking to become a three-time world champion on Saturday night. Huge moment for you, huge moment for Poland, and you look very confident ahead of the fight.
Krzysztofie, witam. To jest trzeci raz, kiedy zawalczysz o tytuł Mistrza Świata WBO, także to jest wielki dzień dla Ciebie, wielki dzień dla Polski. Także jak jesteś gotowy?
Tak jest, witam serdecznie wszystkich, dziękuję Eddie za zaproszenie, także z miłą chęcią zaboksuję, także to jest niesamowite dla mnie, zdobyć trzeci raz pas Mistrza Świata.
I welcome everybody. This is very good privilege for me. I will fight strongly and I'm very confident.
When you look at your resume, Usyk, Bradis, Hook, you've fought a lot of experienced fighters, a lot of world-class fighters. Okolie hasn't. You have the experience. Do you have to count on that experience on Saturday night?
Także kiedy patrzymy na Twoje doświadczenie, prawda, Bradis, Hook, Usyk, dużo wielkich zawodników, Okolie nie ma takiego doświadczenia. Zobaczymy, jak to zaważy na tej nocy.
Tak, ale jest niepokonanym zawodnikiem, więc na pewno się nastawiam na bardzo ciężki pojedynek, także.
Yes, but Okolie is undefeated yet, so I expect very tough fight.
You know that Okolie can punch, you can punch as well. The fans should expect an exciting battle on Saturday night in London.
Także my wiemy, że i Okolie może uderzyć, ty też możesz uderzyć, także spodziewamy się dosyć mocnej walki w sobotę w nocy.
Tak jest, będzie mocna walka, to wam gwarantujemy, także nie możecie tego przegapić.
It will be a strong fight, we can guarantee it, so you cannot miss it.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Lawrence, not sure I've seen someone so relaxed ahead of a world title fight, ahead of stepping well outside of their comfort zones and the levels they've boxed before, but you really believe this is your time on Saturday night, the time for Lawrence Okolie to become a world champion?
Yeah, thanks for everyone for being here. Yeah, I think that everything's all about timing. It's been a good road to get here, and I feel like it's my time to go out there and become world champion. So there's nothing for me to be tense about. I've done all the training, so it's just about going in there and getting it done.
I guess if people have looked at the recent book you brought out and the rap video as well, they might say you've been taking your eye off the ball, but you've been extremely focused on this fight with Shane. Probably a blessing now when you look at it getting out on the December card as well, and absolutely physically, mentally, 100% ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, no, definitely. All that other stuff is just extras. I just feel like I'm here to just enjoy my life to the best I can. In terms of boxing, Shane will tell you my training records, everything shows I put in 100% every day in the gym, which is why I'm able to go out and do what I do.
Saw Joe Cordina give us a story about you turning up at, I think it was the European Championships, and you said, I'm going to do this. You were a novice, people didn't believe that you could go and do it, you did it. You said you'd win British and Commonwealth European titles, you did those with ease. You tell us you're going to be a world champion. Is it the belief, is it the ability, is it a mixture of all of it that makes you special? And surely if you do a great job on Glowacki, people are going to look back and look at you and say, this guy is for real, he can go on and unify this division.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it's just a mix of all of those things. I think it's most important thing is just having self-belief. Obviously, every boxer believes in themselves, but I take it to like another extent. Some people call it arrogant, but I just genuinely believe that if you don't believe in yourself wholeheartedly, you're not going to be able to get onto a stage like this and still shine. So I'm really excited about Saturday and do what needs to be done.
Finally, I know a lot of people believe you had the power to end it early. I know you believe that as well, but you're ready for trench warfare on Saturday night. He says it's going to be a great battle. You've got to be expected to, and you've got to be ready to go in the trenches. You're ready to do that if need be to take this crown.
Yeah, no, most certainly. I've done everything that I need to do in training. So whatever eventuality happens. However, in my mind, that's not going to happen. It's no good. Like I need to show that to have that kind of war music on the same level as someone. I need to show that I'm a level above, even though my experience isn't necessarily there.
Well, Lawrence Okolie looking to become Britain's next world champion, the 7th British cruiserweight champion of all time, in a very tough fight against former 2-time world champion Krzysztof Głowacki this Saturday night, live on Sky Sports in the UK and DAZN around the world. Gentlemen, if we could have a head-to-head here, please.
Okay, so stay with us, guys. I hope we're going to get a chance to speak to both teams here. Lawrence Okolie first. Lawrence, that was just on that mark just there, just for social distancing. I know we've all been tested, but very, very interesting what Eddie Hearn said there about stepping out of your comfort zone. But I get the impression that you feel that you are still in your comfort zone, that you feel that you believe at this level. Am I wrong?
No, that's definitely it. Like, I'm not here thinking that I'm going to scratch and claw my way to the top. I feel like if I'm meant to be a world champion, I'm going to become a world champion and not scrape through. I'm going to do it in impressive fashion.
Some people would say, though, that British, Commonwealth and European level, world title level is next, but it has come so fast. Boxing is also about timing. Do you believe that this is your time to become world champion on Saturday night?
Yeah, I believe so. I feel like for a long time I told myself that I'm meant to be world champion, and I feel until you take that step, you're not going to get there. So you always have to make that step. I mean, Glowacki is someone who's made that step, before, and now it's my turn to make that step.
There can be no denying that your power is legitimate power. It's heavy-handed, you knock people out. If you don't land that big shot, though, are you confident enough if this turns into a chess match? So we're playing chess with Shane McGuigan and beating him convincingly. But if it is a I don't want to say a war of attrition, but if it comes down to boxing skills, do you believe that you are a better technical boxer to beat Gravetsky at what you could say is his own game?
I think it's more so tactically. It's not, for me, I'm never going to throw like combinations and stuff on the inside, and so it's very much about simple tactics. When you're boxing a tall fighter, a short fighter, there's different ways to box, different styles. So I've trained on how to box a shorter southpaw who can come forward, go back, and different stages in the fights are going to ask me to do different things. So I'm very ready. I'm not relying on a big shot to knock the guy out. I'm relying on him not landing and me landing.
There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, isn't it? I don't want you to be misunderstood, but you said there it's about levels, and you need to prove that you're a level above someone that's been to where you're trying to get to. He's climbed his Mount Everest, and you're trying to get there.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, my pinnacle in my mind, and I'm hoping to prove it true, is not to become a world champion, but it's to unify, move up, just do more than. It's like when I say it, I'm meant to feel uncomfortable saying it, but those are the things that I'm aiming to do. So this fight, as much as I respect him and I respect the occasion, to me it's the first step on the journey of world level fighting. So I have to go in and not, kind of take it. I have to go and get it properly.
You tailed above him at the head-to-head there, and I have to say, on our social media channels, the question that's been most asked is about your future at heavyweight. So much is going to be read into how you look on the scales, and you've made no secret in the past that cruiserweight's hard. You make it, but it's hard. How are you feeling now, and how key was that fight in December that you've managed to stay in camp, not blown up in between?
Yeah, no, that was great, because during lockdown, I saw some pictures of myself. Today I was enjoying the food.
Let's not look too closely, because we've all been enjoying it a little bit too much.
Yeah, so obviously that first camp, very good, making the weight, etc. And I've just carried on, so I feel very fantastic today. I'm sure I'll feel fantastic tomorrow, and I'll definitely feel fantastic on Saturday.
Thank you very much for joining us. Go well. I'm going to ask you to exit stage left, and Michael, our translator, is going to join me and help. Michael, if you just stand next to me. Krzysztof, if you just, you can take the mask off. If you just stand on the marker. You made us all laugh there, your trainer, at the press conference. He said, it's no more complicated than we need to avoid those big punches and hit him hard in the face. Is it really as simple as that?
Także troszkę się zaśmialiśmy, ponieważ trener powiedział, że to nie jest skomplikowane. Ty musisz unikać tych dużych uderzeń i go po prostu mocno uderzyć.
No tak, trzeba unikać, przede wszystkim nie wolno przyjąć, bo skoro mocno bije, a wszyscy tak twierdzą, no to trzeba unikać tych ciosów.
First of all, I have to, since everybody claims that he hits hard, well, you have to avoid his punches.
I'm intrigued to see how you feel about it. We know that he hits hard. His record suggests that he does. Is your power underrated, though? People are talking about your boxing technical skills, but do you believe you hit hard enough to knock him out?
Także my wiemy, że on silnie uderza, prawda, ale czy oni troszeczkę zaniżają twoją siłę? My wiemy, że ty technicznie jesteś dobry, ale czy zaniżają twoją siłę? Czy ty też masz siłę?
Ja myślę, że na tym poziomie, w tej wadze każdy bije bardzo mocno, więc a przekonałem się o tym nieraz, także on też się kiedyś przekona.
I think that in this weight, everybody hits quite hard, and I convinced myself about it empirically, and he will do the same soon.
How key is experience? You've been there, seen it, and done it at this level.
Jak kluczowe jest doświadczenie, prawda, w twoim przypadku, bo ty już widzisz, co się dzieje na tym poziomie?
Tak, na tym najwyższym poziomie to przede wszystkim jest doświadczenie kluczowe i oczywiście dyspozycja dnia.
On this highest level, the most important is experience, and obviously, how do you feel on that day?
I just wonder, if you don't mind staying with us, you've been in his position. I wonder how you felt when you were waiting to challenge for your first world title. How will he be feeling? Will he be nervous? Because he keeps saying that he isn't.
Także ty wiesz, bo ty byłeś w jego pozycji wcześniej, prawda? Jak myślisz, jak on się czuje teraz? Bo on mówi, że jest zrelaksowany. Ale czy może ty czułeś się nerwowy wtedy?
Ja byłem czy nerwowy, też czułem się dobrze, pewny siebie i tyle. Tak to jest. Jak nie masz jeszcze walki przegranej, to jesteś taki ponad pewny siebie.
I don't think I was feeling nervous. I was feeling quite self-confident because this is how it feels when you haven't lost any fight yet. You feel self-confident.
Just finally, I always ask former world champions that are still going, what is your motivation? It would have been easy to retire after becoming a world champion. You probably achieved what you set out to achieve when you started boxing. The motivation to go again, to become a world champion again, just talk a little bit about that.
Ja zawsze się pytam takich byłych mistrzów świata już, jaka jest ich motywacja, ponieważ ty mógłbyś już przejść na emeryturę, ale ty jeszcze chcesz zawalczyć. Także jaka jest twoja motywacja, żeby to zrobić?
Przede wszystkim robię to dla siebie, dla swojej rodziny, dla najbliższych, dla kibiców. Także motywacja jest przeogromna, żeby zdobyć po raz kolejny ten pas, obronić go parę razy i odejść jako mistrz.
First of all, I do it for myself. I do it for my family, for my closest ones, for my friends and for my supporters, fans. And the motivation is huge because I want to get this belt back and retire with a belt as a world champion.
Just finally, we are live across all of our social media channels. So many comments have come in Polish, presumably, I don't understand them, but presumably well wishes. You have got a huge Polish following in Poland, but also here in the UK. I just wonder if you wanted to address your fans.
Także my jesteśmy na żywo na wielu portalach społecznościowych, także mamy dużo komentarzy od fanów po polsku. My nie wiemy, co oni mówią, ale przypuszczalnie życzą Ci najlepszego. Jaka jest Twoja wiadomość dla Twoich fanów?
Dziękuję bardzo, że wspieracie mnie, że jesteście ze mną. Trzymajcie kciuki, w sobotę będzie walka.
Thank you very much that you support me, that you keep up with me and that you are here with me and there will be a beautiful fight on Saturday.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, Krzysztof. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll catch up with you tomorrow after the weigh-in.
Także dziękuję Krzysztofie, ciesz się resztą dnia i później jeszcze się złapiemy.
Thank you. Michael, what's your surname?
Kowalski.
Michael Kowalski. Brilliant translation there. I always want to give a shout out to the translators because they make, as Eddie Hearn has already found out in this stream, they make our lives so much easier. So my famous days as a Spanish translator still haunt me in my nightmares, so fair play.
Michael with the Polish, Kieran with the Spanish, Andy Scott with the Spanish a little bit, and Eddie Hearn, no French.
You made a joke about GCSE French a long time ago. We're very close to it, so we get carried away, but that was just set up perfectly. I felt Lawrence saying everything that you would want him to say, but also Krzysztof talking very much like the fire still burning strong.
I like the fact Shane McGuigan was nodding just when Lawrence was talking. He wasn't getting carried away. You know, he says if it appears arrogant, you've got to have that self-belief. You know, he's been on a journey already. I like the fact that he does other things, you know, the book, the rap music. You know, you just look at him. He's obviously 100% into his physical training, and Shane's obviously got him in a really good place. I think interesting question that you said about the fact that he'd fought in December and that he's on weight. He doesn't have to worry too much about grinding himself down because it's a hard weight to make now, the cruiserweight limit. You'd have thought for Big Lawrence. But I liked him. He was cool and calm up there. He respects his opponent, no doubt. But he's got his plan, and I think he's got to go in there and give no respect on the night. Respect him before, no respect on the night. Gravetsky's seen it all before. He's seen the young up-and-comers. He's been there. He's won a world title. And you heard just now from him, Andy, what it means to him and his family and his friends, that he wants to go out on top and retire as a world champion. So he had to put everything into this camp, and he'll be very, very confident that he can teach Okolie a lesson or two, that Okolie is not nearly on his level and that he's too young, too novice, and it's far too soon for him. But yeah, we'll see. It's set up beautifully.
Adam, thank you so much for soldiering on during those fills between. I know you're excited. We are very, very much excited as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you consumed this stream today, it will be there tomorrow. Join us for the weigh-in. 1 o'clock is the time you want in your diaries. We'll come on just before that, 12:50. Thank you to everybody that sent in comments and questions. We did our best to ask and answer as many of them as possible. So enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you join us tomorrow.